Call to order. Obviously, I'm not Mayor Tim Burzel. He's sick today, so I'll be filling in for him. Council members Jason Upchurch, Fred Sen, myself, Billy Costello, Ryan Fafley, city staff, Brad Wainwright, Dan Pratt, Jake Barless, and Clint Drury, and Clerk Treasurer Debbie Cragen. Invocation tonight will be done by Jason Upchurch.
Yeah, could you stand with me as we pray? Father, we thank you so much that we can come together and really on the eve of the 4th of July, where we celebrate our country's freedom, we just give you thanks for the many freedoms that we have. You've just blessed us so richly, and so we thank you for that. We thank you for the ability to come together and talk about our city's business, and we pray that you give us wisdom and grace and just encouragement with the many blessings that you've given us. So help us, guide us, we ask in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jason. All right, Jason asked his invocation for a little bit of grace. So if you guys give me a little grace, it's my first time filling in for Mayor Tim, so bear with me a little bit here. First order of business, can I get a motion to excuse Mayor Tim from tonight's meeting?
I move to excuse Mayor Tim.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And before we do the approval of the agenda, Mayor Tim asked that I bring up the application for, obviously Heather Newsom's spot is open. We currently have 4 applicants for that position. Nick Carollo, Patrick Johnson, Ellen Standen, and David Oftenkamp. These 4, along with anybody that would like to apply, is still through our next meeting is when we are going to interview these individuals. So you have until the day of that meeting to apply. So if anybody's still interested, there's still time. The interview will be done during our council meeting, that 3rd one here in July. Approval of the agenda. You all had a chance to review the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approval of June 5th, 2024 regular council meeting minutes. Motion approved.
Aye. Motion to approve.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 6, interested citizens, oral communications, requests, and comments from the audience on unrelated agenda items. As you guys know, this is a time for you guys to talk, not for us, so just please share your experience. Council members during our time will be able to address any questions during our time to speak later on in the meeting. And please keep it to 2 minutes. So, Angie McBride?
Hi.
Hey.
Do you want me to stand up or?
You're welcome to sit.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Angie McBride, and I've lived in the greater Deer Park area for 3 years at Monroe and Burroughs, and I work for the school district with the Deer Park Home Link. And my husband and I came here from a busy metropolitan area where, on his job, he just really experienced the challenges of the social problems and crime that exist. And I'm here to talk about pickleball, actually, on crime and social problems. But I do think pickleball can solve a lot of crime and social problems. And so what we found here in Deer Park is just a nice place for us to get refreshed from the life that we came from. And when we were looking for homes in Eastern Washington, we always go to the website of the town, and we like to lunch in parks, and we had a dog with us. And so I remember in our temporary home, we looked on the website for parks to see where we were gonna hang out at lunch when we were looking for houses. And I'll just never forget that moment of looking at the website and seeing all the parks in Deer Park. And I was like, oh my goodness, look at this, look at all these parks they have, which really told me a lot about the community. So it just was like a big plus for us before we even came to Deer Park for the first time. As far as pickleball goes, there's been a lot of media about the attention of pickleball and how fun of a sport it is. And it's a combination of like tennis and pickleball, or tennis and table tennis for the most part. But what makes it so popular, in my opinion, is that it has an intrinsic value of fun and friendliness. And you don't find that in other sports. So friendliness, you have a paddle, And when you start coming to play a partner, you walk up to a person you've met before, and instead of shaking your hand and saying hello, you tap paddles with them. And you say, hi, I'm Angie, and they tell you who they are. They're going to be your opponent, or they could be your partner. And in good sportsmanship in pickleball, when you hit a good shot, your opponent's going to tell you, good shot, which is hard to get used to. Or when I tell my opponent, oh, that was a good shot. And when they're your opponent, the next game they become your partner. And so it just has this intrinsic friendliness about it. And coming here and starting pickleball in the Spokane area playing has brought me so many friends, and more so than I've ever had in my whole life. And in the greater Deer Park area, including the town of Deer Park, there are 5,500 people who are age 50 and older, which that typically is the generation that has discovered pickleball and is spending lots of time on pickleball. But the fastest growing segment of pickleball is the 18 to 25-year-old. A marketing person for Bobolat, which is a European tennis and table tennis brand, they've started launching into pickleball because the number of young people that are engaging in pickleball as well. So I do find it's a sport for everybody. And so there's been a lot of talk in our pickleball community. This is my friend Carol. She's from Deer Park, and she's a pickleball friend of mine. People were saying, oh, Deer Park needs to get pickleball courts. And we were kind of hearing that they were, or they didn't know. And so I just launched a process to find out, is pickleball coming to Deer Park? And so I started a Facebook page that's called Deer Park Pickleball, just to find out what the community is out there. Are there people interested in pickleball? So my Facebook page, within 2 weeks, I think, we've grown to 72 people. I'm inviting those people to do a entry in Settlers Day Parade. We have some fun things planned. We want to just demonstrate the fun and friendliness of pickleball. So when I researched, I met with the mayor this week, I met with Jason this week to kind of talk about pickleball. And I was very pleased to learn that it is in the plan here for Deer Park, which is exciting. And because I have vision for pickleball, vision for the friendliness that already exists in Deer Park, to have pickleball enhance that. And so I'm excited about it. The pickleball community is excited about it. I'm looking forward to going back to them and telling the group of people that are interested in having pickleball here that it is in process. What I would like to ask you as a council is to, I'm excited about the splash pad. I've seen splash pads in communities and how fun they are, how safe they are, and just a really neat aspect for families. So as you work towards building that splash pad, I'd like to ask that you also simultaneously work at the pickleball court that's supposed to be located in the general proximity to each other. I think that it would be cost effective, because when you're pouring concrete for one, you could be pouring concrete for the other, which saves money at the same time. But I do understand the economic realities and how expensive things are today, and just knowing they're probably going to be more expensive next summer or the summer after that. And so what I would ask you to consider is in your budgeting process for 2025, if you would consider having a line item for the pickleball courts. That would just kind of give good, just good planning, because that splash pad is, I'm sure, going to be expensive, and there's always unanticipated things that you can't plan for. There could be some cost overruns. And I'll tell you what, with the 72 people that are engaged in pickleball for Deer Park, we're going to be there for grand opening. I'm just excited about it. I have vision for it. And of course, we would rather see it sooner rather than later. So I think if you were able to create a line item in the budget for pickleball courts, that would help just keep it on progress for the community. What I'm open to doing is doing homework. I'm connected to Inland Northwest Pickleball Club, which is a nonprofit that operates in North Idaho, and also Chewelah has a strong pickleball community in Stevens County. And just to really, and Spokane County has really been making inroads in pickleball courts the last couple of years. So I'm more than happy to do some legwork, take photographs, research, make contacts to find out how much does a pickleball court to do it right. I would just like to engage you in that public process over this next year and just see what we can do to get pickleball to come to Deer Park.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. Richie?
Well, first I have a question for Angie.
Sure.
So I know that part of the talk has been about putting pickleball courts at different parks and kind of spreading them out. Would it be better to have like all the courts like centrally located, or have them spread out through different parks?
There's a website tool, and it's called Playtime Scheduler. And it's free. You can just go in and look at it. And all across the United States has every park that offers pickleball. So tomorrow, I have arranged for 20 people to show up at a park at Holmberg Park in Spokane. And those 20 people filled that up. There's 8 courts there. So I would say the demand for pickleball would be more courts centrally located. But a court here and there is nice for the community as well. But it would get the most use the more courts together centralized.
So one of the things I just wanted to say is I'm in support of pickleball courts. I think perhaps having more of them like centrally located would be good, but also thinking that maybe it might be better to have some of them located up by the sports complex. But I think having 1 or 2 to practice on near the splash pad would also be a good idea. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is that tomorrow's 4th of July, and right now, according with the park ordinance, you can only set off fireworks between noon and midnight, which is kind of ironic since the Declaration of Independence was originally signed on July 2nd, so a couple days later. But we have a lot of people in Deer Park that would like to be able to utilize fireworks and celebrate. We have a Facebook group, not a competition, but we have 350 some members on that group that would like to see more availability to use fireworks. There's a lot of people that might have to work on the 4th, and so they would like to be able to use it on the 3rd, or I think the state allows for it also to be on the 5th. So just to expand that a little bit, the state allows for starting the fireworks on the 1st, and I'm not asking necessarily for that, but just expand it a little bit more than what it is currently. So.
Anybody else didn't get a chance wants to speak? All right. Item 7, new business, deed of abandonment and easement. Ryan Build Homes, LLC. Dan?
So this easement, it's over just east of Weber, south of Crawford. It was originally dedicated as a water main easement that at one period of time, the plan was that was going to be the path of the future roadway. However, with the new subdivision that's going in, the plans changed and it's been relocated a little bit further west than what it was. So this easement that's being abandoned is being more or less replaced by new city right-of-way just to the west, and that you can expect on the next council agenda to dedicate that. So.
We're going to make a motion or anything on that, right, Debbie? Item B, task order 2024-06, Shamrock Glen 5th edition construction observation, JEB Engineers. Dan again.
So this one is for the next phase of that very same project for Shamrock Glen. So the next phase will continue Country Club Drive through that Shamrock Glen neighborhood. It'll connect it up to Crawford, along with adding another loop to the subdivision. So this is for construction observation that will be paid by the developer. So, any questions?
Do you make a motion to approve?
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the task order.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item C, task order 2024-07, Public Works, shop new record of survey, JEB Engineers. Dan again.
Same thing there. That is for the lot for the house that we purchased next to the shop. It's to, as well as you'll know, the house is no longer there, trees are no longer there. We are in preparation to extend our yard fence around it, but we need to have it surveyed prior to doing that. So.
Make a motion to approve task order 2024-07.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item D, task order 2024-08, Deer Park On-Call Planning Service, JUB Engineers. My understanding, this is, I think Jake is kind of in the weeds right now with the amount of permits that he has to approve. So we're asking for a temporary extra planner due to all these excess permits. And it's going to end as soon as he gets caught up with the workload that he has. So, any questions on that?
No, it's a great idea.
No? Good. Get a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve task order 2024-08.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No resolutions. Item 9, ordinances. Third final reading, ordinance 2024-1023, adding a new subsection C to section 18.12.020 and repealing section 18.12.030 of the Deer Park Municipal Code. Dan, you?
That is not,
That one was before the council, I want to say probably February, March of this year.
Okay.
To take the building permit acceptance, from the planning commission back to the building inspector, so they don't have to wait 2,
Exactly. Okay,
3,
perfect.
4
Bypass
weeks.
that. I remember. Okay.
It had to go to the Department of Commerce to get their okay on it.
Okay.
That's what's taking so long to get it back.
Gotcha. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The consent agenda. Item A, approval of voucher claim check numbers 42081 through 42128, including EFT debits in the amount of $316,897.97 for the first half of June 2024. Item B, approval of voucher claim checks number 42129 through 42163, including EFT debits in the amount of $308,818.87 for the second half of 2024. Item C, approval of payroll checks number 15499 through 15531, including PFML, LTC, 941 taxes and health benefits in the amount of $154,546.84 for the month of June 2024. Deer Park Municipal Airport lease agreement, Northwest Mini Cooper Club, Inland Empire BMW Club. Item E, Deer Park Municipal Airport use agreement, AMR Washington. Item F, declaring surplus property from the equipment rental fund inventory and approving disposal. Any questions?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Billy, can we go back to new business, item A, the D? We need a motion to approve
Letter D?
letter A.
Oh, A, letter A, I'm sorry. Okay. Go back to new business, letter A, deed of abandonment easement, Ryan Build Homes LLC. Maybe motion approved.
I'll move to approve that.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Dan. Item 11, council questions, comments, or reports. Start with you, Jason.
Just to dovetail on what Angie mentioned earlier, we did have a good conversation this week. Brad, I'm so sorry. I'm not calling on you because you're talking. You had mentioned that part of the engineering for the splash pad over at Mixed Park is going to include pickleball, or did I misunderstand?
No,
that?
we've just discussed.
Discussed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we were to move forward with pickleball stuff, we would need to include that in the budget.
Well, I mean, our big talk was trying to figure out what they set up, the council set aside X amount of money,
Right.
trying to figure out how much get to the point where we know what the splash pad is gonna cost,
Right.
so you know how much money is left to do something with.
Gotcha.
So when we put the splash pad in, it's going to require other improvements around the splash pad.
Yeah. Okay.
For ADA compliance is a big one, to get the utilities to it. you know, that they're all in the area, but it's gonna consume a lot of cost there. So basically, we've been allocated that, you know, set amount of money that's been approved for it. If there's money above and beyond whatever that's gonna entail to add pickleballs to that and still be within that budget, then that's what we would like to do. We don't know if that is possible yet, though.
So so thank you, good clarification. So, and I guess this is my own personal opinion to the council. When we approved the 1.2 million, 1.2?
Correct.
Right about there. That was really for a splash pad.
For a splash.
So I want to make sure that we get our $1.2 million splash pad, and then if we want to do pickleball, and I'm 100% in favor of throwing in some pickleball courts over there, but you know, we could use our, you know, our council discretionary fund or something like that. But
Pickleball courts aren't that expensive.
I don't believe they are.
No,
Yeah.
they're like,
No.
they're under $100 a foot.
You can fit 4 of them technically in a tennis court, right?
Correct.
Size-wise?
Yeah.
Right.
So the other thing I mentioned, well, yeah. So anyway, all that to say, I definitely want to ensure that we get the biggest, best splash pad, because we're probably not doing another splash pad for quite some time. And if we got that 1.2 million, I'd like to ensure that we're using all of it for that. And then if, you know, there's, you know, however the engineering works out to put in some pickleball courts over there, maybe we could budget it, or maybe we could use some of our, you know, council discretionary money, whatever, for that purpose. I think that would be a wonderful purpose.
Okay.
So the other thing that Angie and I mentioned when we were talking was there are pickleball courts throughout Spokane where they look really good, but they're actually terrible courts. And she can tell you where they're at. And I've got friends who play pickleball on a regular basis. I've never played pickleball. But they're like, I will never go there because of this dumb thing or whatever. So whatever we do, I want to make sure that we don't spend $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 on a pickleball court that's lame and nobody wants to use. That doesn't make any sense. So and so she seems to know, she has connections to people who know what makes a good public use court. And so I just want to ensure that if we're going to spend those dollars that we do it right. So that's all I have. Thank you.
And one thing I forgot to mention is that I learned today from the person who coordinates pickleball up in Stevens County is that there are statewide grants available. They weren't issued a grant. They were disappointed in that, but I'm going to look into that and just see what the likelihood of pursuing grants for pickleball would be, since it's our statewide sport. So.
Great. Thank you.
Fred, you got anything?
Well, just to add off what Jason was saying about the splash pad, have we got a design, or we haven't seen anything in the council as far as what you guys are planning to go in that splash pad? Do
We have not put together a whole design yet. We
can't
have
get bids until we know what we're doing.
Right. We've been researching it. We've been in between other projects as well. So we haven't made, you know, we haven't gotten as far as I think what you would have liked, but we are making progress on it. However, it is slow with all the other development going on in the projects that we're
As far as the
working on.
pickleball court, somebody put that in the survey amongst all the other stuff that was put in.
So to clarify,
I
the
don't know.
pickleball and the splash pad, they're not technically the same thing. We're focusing on a splash pad, and whatever is going to be required, ADA, you know, parking, sidewalks, path to and from it, around it. The pickleball is, like you said, it was something that citizens wanted, so that's something that if we can include it in the end of it, awesome. If not, then we'll budget it separately. That's probably the route it's going to have to go. At this stages that we're in right now, it's hard to say if there would be any leftover money there. The best route would be, you know, we're working on it, but it's the time of year. The best prices that you receive, you know, when we do put it actually out to bid, probably would be in the winter, to where the work's being done in early spring and opening in the beginning of summer.
Well, I was always confused about why we even put that, because there was like 10 items, it was 8 or 10 items that was in that survey that went out. If, you know, if we had a splash pad, what would you want with it? And I don't know why that was ever
Well, it helps
put
us
in
focus
there.
on what
What
people want,
future,
what to add around it. And
but was the intent to put it near the splash pad? Was that why we put it in the survey?
it doesn't,
I know Jason's position all along,
to give an option for it, yes, but not a requirement of it.
because I talked to him before I ran for council, and that was his objective. His insistence all was to put all that money into the splash pad.
Mhm.
But the things you put in that survey would have took all away from that endeavor, so
A lot of that
There was
was
a whole bunch
for
of stuff in there.
location, for having restrooms near it, parking near it, sidewalks near it, different events around it.
Additional amenities.
Additional amenities, whether those be existing amenities or new amenities. But a lot of that is just to have the right location for it. It didn't necessarily intend on, well, they want to buy music, let's build an amphitheater next to it. It's for, to look at, okay, this is what people would like it to be near. Okay, now let's look at what is here and what we could put it by. If there's an existing item that people want to buy, let's put it by it.
you and I had talked about, you were part of a design of a splash pad, get into the location.
I was part of the construction of a splash pad for the city of Kennewick.
But I never seen nothing. I thought you was gonna come up with something that, similar to what you had done there, so we could look at that to see.
I can get a
It's a
picture of
starting
it and
point.
show you.
What's that?
I can get a picture of it and show you it.
Okay, if you could present
It's-
something for the next.
That was quite a few years ago to where I couldn't get, design
Sure,
plans or anything like
dollar
that
amounts
for
have
it,
changed,
and
so.
prices, and I would imagine the
Well, if
prices
you
have
wanted-
over doubled since then.
I would volunteer myself to help you with, look at other designs and see
Okay.
what we could, what we'd go out for and see, get our bids. 'Cause we gotta get started on the bids process to see.
We've got to get the design completed prior to getting
Right.
bids, but
Right.
yes.
Any kind of an ETA on when a design might be done, Dan?
I can give you a better idea at the next meeting, or
Thank you.
prior to that, I can send an email, the group an email.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay. I have a few things. Do you have anything for?
Not right at the moment.
No? Okay. So I got a few things I would like to talk about. So Peggy Coyle is going to be here today, kind of an update on the retail strategies and our partnership with Chamber of Commerce and the downtown revitalization efforts. Our team, the core team's working on really 3 areas of focus. It's improving parking downtown, increasing parking, signage, and then trying to create a historical designation for our downtown that will get a lot of the building owners kind of tax breaks and make it easier to do business downtown. There will be, the next presentation is going to be on Tuesday, August 27th here at City Hall Chambers from 9 to 11:30. We'll post that dates as well. One thing, I don't know if you guys know Gina Moore. Anybody? I just want to give her kudos. Mayor Tim and I were at a Rotary luncheon a couple months ago, and she did a 334-mile walk from Deer Park to Seattle Children's Center. To her 17-year-old granddaughter had a bone marrow transplant, and she did that to raise money for it. So really proud of her. I mean, our city it was really exciting to see that in the news. And it was an awesome story. Thank you. Also, we're not going to make a motion on this or anything today, but with permission from the Cragen family, I'd like this to be added on the next agenda item. Speaking of the splash pad, with a lot of feedback from the community, I would like that we would have some type of memorial to name the splash pad after Dee Cragen and her years of service, specifically with our town. So I'd like to add that to the next meeting's agenda item. Speaking of fireworks too, I know Linda, I reviewed the video that you sent us. I don't know if you guys saw it too. It's unfortunate, 4 minutes of those kids right outside Swingyard Park. all I'm asking about the fireworks this year, just be kind, be respectful, be responsible. It's, my biggest concern with fireworks is the safety of our community. Being an insurance agent, I've seen what fires can do to people's lives, so that is top of mind to me. Like I said, just if everyone can be respectful, honor the rules that we have set in place, it would make things go a lot better for everybody in this community. The last thing I have, so I spent, a couple weeks ago, I went down to Vancouver, Washington, represent the city of Deer Park for the Associated Washington Cities conference. Met a lot of good people, networked, learned a lot about city government. I'm still in Dube here, 6 months in. But one of the conversations I had was, one of the things that I bring up in last meetings too is improving our communication with our citizens. And I had a talk with a representative from GoGov app, which is an app called Go Notify. And one of the takeaways or the feedback that we've got from our attorneys and stuff, if we have a Facebook account, it's being able to respond to people in a timely manner, all the legality behind that. This GoGov app, what it is it's basically, it's a standalone app that we have for the city of Deer Park. It's created, we create our own logo, anything we want for the city of Deer Park. It's, we brand it how we want, we call it Deer Park Go, whatever, Deer Park, City of Deer Park. It's one-way notifications, so it's push notifications to everybody. So if we have events, if there's road closures, if there's trash disruption, construction, anything like that, it's notifications right to our consumers, our citizens. There's no account login needed, so you don't have to, people are worried about their data getting breached out there, so anybody can download this app. It's free to use for anybody. Each department head would have access to it, so they could go, so I know Clint, we just got that letter in our bills about the wastewater. So those types of things, could be links directly to our website. So it's a super simple, super easy app. There's no startup costs, unlimited training, support. The cost of this is $3,900 annually. I had Jessica look into, with our website being revamped, if we were to do something with the company that we hired them, they said very rough estimate would be $4,300 per year plus $1,000 startup costs. So it's something that I would like to give you guys time to research over the next couple of weeks. I have a one sheet for each of you guys to look at here. It just kind of goes over all the basics of it. I was on a Zoom call with the representative on Monday that was recorded, and I'm happy to send you guys a link to look over it and put it on the agenda maybe for next meeting. So any questions? Or?
Yeah. I love it. A couple of years ago, I was looking at a competing company, but it was even more expensive than that. I mean, it's just anything that we can do to communicate to our citizens.
Right.
And especially big deal stuff, or even, I don't know how many times I've seen on the Facebook pages, is there a fireworks display in Deer Park?
Well, and that's the thing,
this
would just be right, straight put notifications.
Is
You
the
don't have to
pool
rely on.
open yet?
Yeah.
No, when's the pool open?
Right.
So all these things would be there, so.
Yeah, so I'd love to see it on, could we put it on the agenda?
Yeah, I'd like to put it on
and
the agenda
vote
for next, the July 24th, right? 17th.
17.
The 17th.
Yeah, I'd like to implement that soon. I think that'd be great.
Yep.
Good job.
All right. Report departments. Clint, you're up. You're on the phone.
Sure, yeah. I'll apologize in advance. It's a little hard to understand. It's like the head cold. But over at our Swineyard well, that is currently down. I think I mentioned before we're having a new pump control panel and some wiring installed over there. H2O pump and well service, Agent Electric, and Control Freak have all been involved with that one in different aspects of it. The plan is they're finishing up, and Monday we're hoping to do a startup. So anxious for that. That's an important goal for us. It's really a workhorse in terms of production. So on the wastewater side, we had Ecology come out and do a periodic dam safety inspection. They do that every so often. Every time they do that, they send out a list of, they call it compliance guideline requirements, and they always have some things that they want us to work on and fix. So the guys are working on that list right now and fixing some of those minor compliance items. one thing that I'm in the process of doing, the law firm that's handling our 3M and DuPont PFAS claims, sent them over to the court portal, and I'm going through and reviewing basically all of the data for that, and that's got to be finished by Tuesday. So that's something I'm wrapping up, and then we'll officially submit that. So yeah, I think that's all I got, Billy.
Awesome. Thanks, Clint. Jake, you're on the phone too?
Yeah. Yep, I'm here.
On the building side, as everyone can probably see, there's tons of houses going up. It's been pretty much nonstop since the winter with some of our builders in town. And they're continuing to, as they go through the phases of the development they're in, they are planning to go right into the next phase of the development. So building going strong. On the task order 2408, that has nothing to do with building, that is strictly planning. So anything to do with short plats, long plats, subdivisions, lot line adjustments, hey, can I put this there? Anything to do with long range planning, short range planning for the city, that is all going to be put in JDB's hands from now on. That's the whole of the department did that I'm not able to do with the building. We have the main we have for the building and plan reviews and just code analysis, things of that nature. So just clarification on that. That's planning. That has nothing to do with building. So I'll put that out there. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Jake. Any questions? Brett?
A lot of mowing and weed control going on right now. Things are growing like crazy. The pool's open and running. Everything seems to be in good shape there. Pretty busy today when I was over there a couple of times. We've got started on the sewer lift station upgrade at the sports complex. We've got it all installed. We're waiting for Gaffney Electric to come next week and get the wiring and programming all done, and then we'll get the cement work put back, and we'll be back in business there. That, and we're just finishing up over at the shop with we're hoping maybe a week and a half out to have the shop remodel all done. Just waiting on a door to come in, a man door. So, and
How many lifeguards do we end up with?
6, I believe.
Oh, not bad.
Harold?
At our next board meeting, Tuesday, August 13th, we will be having a video conference call with a Washington Department of Transportation Aviation Division land compatibility engineer. I'm coordinating with Peggy Coyle to set that up and invite all of the industrial park owners. Mr. Eisen typically works with us to get anything developed as far as what's allowed, what's not allowed in the industrial park, in the safety areas of the airport. Of course, the FAA is the final authority on yes or no if something is allowed, but a lot of times if we go to them first, they send us to WashDOT, and then they almost approve unanimously whatever WashDOT recommends. So he's going to do a video conference with those landowners talking about types of businesses, what they can do in the industrial park, what's not allowed. Right now we have 5 firefighting aircraft on station. They've had a few fires, nothing huge so far, other than over near Chelan.
Dan?
So we've been working on closing out or wrapping up the sewer lagoon project. It's pretty well, it's done. They've got substantial completion. Just a couple little more punch list or warranty type items to wrap up out there. We are working on the design of the North Colville project. where we take off from 3rd Street heading north on Gallville, widening, full front improvements. And then focusing on a lot of private subdivision, as well as you've seen around town. We've got Shamrock Glen, Mountain View Meadows, Marshall Meadows. Just got word this week that Deer Park Meadows, the next phase of that's going to be starting up here in about a month or so. So there's a lot of construction.
Got everybody, right? Yeah. No executive session today, so adjournment.
Move to adjourn.